I finished going to the gym with my friend and we took the bus home. I got off at an earlier stop than my friend. It was a pretty long ride, about 30 to 40 minutes, and nothing really weird happened. We were just joking around and having fun at the moment, but as soon as I said goodbye and got off the bus, a car came rushing through and I couldn't see it coming for whatever reason, but when I looked to my left, it was zooming. I was shocked, so I just stood there. I remember just seeing white and nothing else. A few seconds later, the car swerved and almost hit another car. After all that, I see my friend looking so shocked at what just happened, and I looked back at him like, what's going on? I went home later and just thought about what the hell just happened. The weird thing is, a few days later, I asked my friend about the situation again, and he said he did not remember a situation like that at all. That kind of surprised me because he was with me and saw the whole thing from the bus. Did I die and come back to this dimension? Did I go into some other reality where I'm not dead? I'll never know. I was driving home from a neighboring state dropping off my sister at a friend's house. It was about an hour and a half drive both ways. I get there totally fine, but on my way back I start getting really tired. It was about 10 p.m. by this point, and there was no other cars on the interstate, thankfully. But it was odd. There was always a few cars, or at least 18-wheelers on this stretch. It's the only interstate through the area. I was driving a 2014 Toyota Camry. It was my second because I was T-boned in the first. A 2012 with the same body style. And the guy sort of rolled into the car at 20 miles per hour, and it was totaled. So, I know from experience these cars don't take a beating very well. I come around this big curve on the interstate and kind of nod off, and I wake up in the next lane. Not safe at all, I know, but this is an area very rural, and the next exit wasn't for another 10 or so miles. I shook myself awake, turning up the radio and rolled down my windows, trying to do anything to keep myself from falling asleep again and staying awake. I go another 3 or 4 miles down the road and start to nod off again, and I think I should pull over and run a lap or two around the car to get my blood pumping. This apparently doesn't work because I nod off again. The next thing I know, I hear a loud bang, and I felt my car jolt or bounce to the driver's side. I'm now fully awake and slam on my brakes and pull over thinking, what the hell is going on? Because I know without a doubt the side of my car has been crushed in, and I'm hoping the damage is contained to one area. But I know from the impact that I won't be so lucky. I get out, and I still haven't seen a single car, by the way, and I walk around the car bracing myself for the absolute worst. When I see an 18-wheeler has stopped behind me, the driver comes running up and asks me if I'm okay and if I need anything or any kind of help, and then he tells me what he saw. I was driving along and I started to drift. He thought that maybe I was using my cell phone, but no, I'm not that stupid. However, earlier I was stupid enough to fall asleep behind the wheel, but anyways, he then just sees my car bounce off of something into my lane, and then I hit the brakes. There are lots of guardrails on the side of the interstate here, so we're both certain of exactly what it was that I just hit and how much damage those wire rails do, and I talk about it while I'm walking up to the car. Only when we get to the passenger side, there isn't a single scratch on my car. No dents, not anything, nothing. I apparently never hit anything. So we walk back down past his truck, and he swears he just cleared a guardrail when he pulled over, but nothing is there. We both just kind of scratch our heads in amazement. He asks if I'm okay to drive now, which I most definitely was, as I was now wide awake, and he said that he'd stay behind me until I got off the interstate since he was going far past my exit. I got home safely thanks to that friendly truck driver, although I never got his name and had no idea how to tell my husband that I'd wrecked the car, even though I hadn't. I don't know, it's still highly confusing, and the whole thing is just really weird, and I thought I'd post it on this forum to tell others about the car accident that never happened. When I was a kid, I remember my brother found a ring in the basement. I didn't really think much of it. We had moved in fairly recently, and I figured it was left behind by the previous owners. A few months later, she found another one. We were very poor, so she decided to take it to a pawn shop. I remember she got like $200 or something like that for it. It was wild for us at the time. She then proceeded to scour the entire basement for more. She tore it apart and cleaned it up looking for more jewelry, but didn't find anything. Fast forward a few months, and I remember just being so hungry. We had no money for anything. I was dreaming of a bologna sandwich, and so I figured that I would check the basement again. Why not? What could it hurt? I found a ring just sitting in the middle of one of the empty rooms down there. Just typing this, I have the chills. I found 2 more rings over the course of a few months. Always when things were super bleak for us financially speaking, it was definitely something that I'll never forget and felt very paranormal in nature. This happened to me twice in the same week. I was thinking of an old friend, and then hours later he texted me out of nowhere. Now, this is a friend that I haven't talked to in over a year, and I rarely see him, so for him to contact me after my initial thought was pretty odd, I thought. Then days later, I was thinking about my old guitar teacher randomly. It just kind of popped into my head, and then I bumped into her in the parking lot of a grocery store that same day that it happened. For me, it was just super weird and odd to have these coincidences happen so close to each other. Has anybody ever thought of a person you haven't seen in a very long time, then they just show up out of nowhere? It's like they just appear out of thin air, right there just when you least expect to see them. This happened a few days ago. I decided to wait to post about it until he got home for my safety, and to make sure that I had a chance to talk to him first. I'm an only child and I live at home with my parents. My mom is currently in a different state for work and has been there for 10 weeks. On Friday at around 5 a.m. my dad left to go to his friend's house in New Hampshire to golf. He got back Sunday afternoon. My dad and I share chores around the house while my mom is gone, and I'm extremely weird with touching wet food or just old food in general, so my dad always rinses the dishes and then runs a dishwasher, and all I have to do is put them away. Our dishwasher automatically opens when it's finished cleaning. That's how I know when they're ready to be put away. He left for New Hampshire Friday morning before I woke up. I was upstairs doing homework and watching Netflix basically all morning until I went down to eat lunch before work. I made myself one of those microwave mac and cheese cup things and went into the silverware drawer to get a fork and noticed there was barely any in. And we have these big forks and little forks, and I prefer the big ones, but there was only little ones inside the drawer. I looked in the dishwasher, which was closed, meaning it was empty, but I checked just in case it was closed by accident, and there was nothing in there. I remember being super confused because the sink was empty, and so was the dishwasher, so I had no clue where all the dishes and silverware were. I decided to just ask my dad later when he called to check in on me, as he always does when he's away, and just grabbed one of the forks from the drawer and ate my mac and cheese. After I got home from work, I made myself some pasta for dinner. Don't blame me for only eating pasta, I'm lazy, okay? But anyways, when I finished, I walked over to the drawer and got annoyed when I remembered there was only little forks that were in there. I turned around to grab my phone to call my dad and ask him where he was and if everything was okay, since he hadn't called me yet. And when I did, the dishwasher caught my eye for some reason. It was open. I looked inside and it was full of clean dishes. There were all my big forks that I wanted. All the dishes I had used, everything recently was just there. When this happened, I was so terrified. I don't know why it scared me so bad, but it did. I grabbed my pasta, my phone, and a fork as fast as I could, out of the dishwasher and bolted up the stairs in my room. I immediately called my dad and told him what happened, and asked when he did his dishes last. He said he did them that morning before he left for New Hampshire. I asked if he came home at all. He said no. I'm literally 100% positive that the dishwasher was empty when I made the mac and cheese earlier that day. I wasn't half asleep. I wasn't under the influence. I wasn't imagining anything. As I said before, I'm the only child. My mom is on the other side of the country, and my dad was 3 hours away by the time I even woke up that day. No one has the keys to my house but us. And then I was trying to think of everything that I could to explain it. I was like, did somebody break in, do my dishes, take absolutely nothing, and then leave? Do I have a second dishwasher I never noticed until now? And I got all this stuff mixed up in my head. Did I fall asleep and sleepwalk and do my dishes unknowingly? There was nothing that could explain this, and this made no sense. The part that scares me the most is the fact that the dishes weren't in the sink either the first time. They literally just were nowhere to be found. But where were they? I know this is a super long and detailed story about some stupid forks, but I'm really terrified as to what happened. I don't know what to think about this at all. This literally just happened to me, and I'm kind of freaked out about it. I'm sitting in my room watching Netflix, and the next episode is loading. My room has been shut for the last 5 hours. The screen sort of blacks out, and there's a loading circle, and the audio is going. That's when I notice what looks like a huge crack on my TV on the top right-hand corner. It looks like a huge white fingerprint that held tight and fractured the screen. That wasn't there about 10 seconds ago. I know it wasn't. A moth then flies out of nowhere from behind me. My back is against the wall and my bedroom door is closed, like I said. I hear my dog making a choking and growling sound in the hallway. I glimpse at the TV, and the middle is bluish in color that fades to black, and the crack is still on the TV screen. I go out to check on my dog, and the dog seems happy and fine. The dog comes into my room, and I go into the kitchen to get a bottle of water. The basement door that is usually closed for some reason is now open, and I find that to be a bit odd, so I close it. I come back into my room and the TV is completely black, but also lit, which is kind of hard to explain. The crack and fingerprint are still there. I go to make my bed and notice that my closet door is open. I finish making my bed and the TV turns itself back on and the volume is incredibly high. The white fingerprint and crack are now gone. I close the closet door and sit on my bed, and I just finally wrote this out. I can't explain how creeped out I feel, but it feels like there's something in my room, like some kind of a presence, or that something is off. I can't explain it, but I don't know what to make of this at all. Some years ago, my school made an international student exchange. Before it was our turn to go to the other country, we hosted 2 students from the other school in our home. One of them was not from a poor family, I think, but one with important financial difficulties. He was happy to participate in the program to discover a new country, new people, and a new school. For the special occasion, his mother gave him sunglasses before his travel. It wasn't much, but for him, it was an important gift from his mother, personally paid for him. He enjoyed a good stay in my country and made good memories here. The night before he left for his return, when he was packing his bags on his bed, he began to panic. He lost his sunglasses and didn't know where they were. We tried to search thoroughly all over the room, even completely stripped his bed to see if they were stuck between the wall and the mattress. Without any success, we searched the rest of the house to see if he had strayed them outside the bedroom, with no success. The next morning, he had no choice but to go to the airport for his departure. He was very sad and angry against himself because his mother paid for these sunglasses. He also said that he was feeling so stupid due to the fact that he lost them. We made our goodbyes, and he finally took his flight. Several weeks later, when my own mother was cleaning this room out, she found these sunglasses that he left right on the bed. right smack in the middle. Considering we stripped this bed to look for them, there was no logical explanation as to how these sunglasses ended up on a very specific location. We thought that they were lost forever because we couldn't find them anywhere. We sent the sunglasses by package to give it back to this person who stayed with us. He was happy that he finally found them, and we're still astonished to this day how we found them. I was just getting ready to lie down in bed after a long day. I had gone out to dinner at 7 with some friends, and my friends took a group photo together. Then after getting home, I hopped into my hot tub for about 30 minutes because I'm sore from some intensive landscaping work. I got out, dried off, put on some dry clothes, and went to my bed. Right before I lay down, I scratched my head, and there were sunglasses on my head. I am legitimately confused right now because this just doesn't feel right. I mentioned the group photo because I did not have sunglasses on me when we took that photo. It was dark out when I left, so I wouldn't have worn them afterwards, and I didn't wear them during that occasion. Then I was in the hot tub. I touched my head multiple times. I had to put my shirt on and take it off and put on a new one and get dried with a towel afterwards and then put on that new shirt. I walked straight from the bathroom after changing in my bedroom. I don't understand how this happened or how this is working and how these glasses ended up on my head. It doesn't make any sense at all.